Here we go. Now that it's May, I'll do some of my winter projects. There's a few things that I knew I had to dial in on this, a couple changes, and a couple new things I found. Modify these upper bushings and bumpers, change my end links, modifying the rear control arms, getting my rear sway bar all set up, and also making some brackets for these engine mounts so they don't flex all over the place like they were. And changing up my steering. I got some offset heims coming in, so I will quit grinding these against the inside of the wheel. This one's real bad. My turning radius kind of sucks, which is extra annoying when I got that trailer hooked up. I'm also going to take these control arms, chop them, and re-weld them so the ball joint moves forward an inch. Well, shit. Just lost my damn belt in the rain here. I gotta figure out how the hell I'm gonna loosen this tensioner enough to get that thing back on there. Yeah, never mind. Tensioner's dead. Okay, tucked it out of the way here, and now I'm driving home real quick. Okay, I hooked up my OBD link, and a quarter on the gauge is 205. It was just above that, so that's not so bad. Okay, there's nothing here actually broken. It just came loose. I might be able to fix it. Okay, I think I got it. I'm still going to order a new one to have on hand. Very nice. So this one is actually a truck tensioner that I machined down 3/4 of an inch here to make up for those 3/4 inch spacers that I got. But I think a factory Camaro one will work, so I'm going to order one of those and see if I don't have to machine one every time I got to replace this. Put it right back in its middle mark there. It looks like that little electric defroster don't have enough ass for real frost. Hopefully it's better for rain. Okay, the wood knob is ready. Yeah, there we go. Okay, here I am testing up this little kill switch that I rigged up. Right now it's just zip tied in place. I'm probably not going to drive it like this, but the Cletus burnout contest has to have a kill switch that's accessible from outside. I'm going to run with no hood at the burnout contest, so I can keep the kill switch in here. And the GMT 800 fuse block makes it reasonably easy to run. I ran a new wire from here to here, and I changed where this battery wire here, it's got the real heavy one that goes to the starter. Then it's got this other less heavy wire that typically goes here. I ran both the battery wire here and the alternator charge wire, which usually goes to the little junction down there. I ran them both to one side of the kill switch, and then on the other side powers up the fuse block here to run the engine, and this powers up the car itself. This used to be, in the Beretta, these wires used to go to the starter, which was directly on the battery thing. And if I'm right here, which I think I am, I did a kill switch on the Camaro forever ago. To be NHRA legal, it has to shut the car off while it's running. So that's why the alternator wire has to go through there. And if I'm right here, I should be able to shut the whole car off by hitting that kill switch. Okay, let's see. Okay, it works. So that means I did remember how I wired up this Camaro from like 15 friggin' years ago. I'm going to make a bracket to sort of hold it up here where it's easy to get to for the Cletus crew. And this should be fun with no hood for the burnout contest. And I'm thinking headers poking straight up. Okay, I grabbed some of these bushings and I laid them out so that they fit on my torque arm here. And the width happens to be perfect. And I'm hoping that gets rid of this clunk sound that I got up here, which I'm assuming is coming from this trailer bushing, which has not really held up great. And I made this little cardboard retainer, which will hold the bushings in place. I did some more cardboard aided design too, figuring out how I'm going to do a brace here, drill and tap these engine mounts, weld on some angle iron here, which this is going to bolt into because it all needs to come apart easy. And that'll help triangulate everything here because the engine does rock quite a bit when you're really hammering on it. I think you can see it better over on this side. I'm going to have angle iron that I weld right above that bushing, and then probably a couple bolts holding it nice and solid. Okay, made my little plastic mock-up to try out. I thought this bushing would work all right. I always wanted to fall out. I used weather strip adhesive to hold it in there. Still always came out. Ton of flex too. So we're gonna try poly now. I split this one so that you could get it on there. And this one. Alright, this is gonna be a problem I didn't notice before. That sleeve is a little bit wider than this strap, and the bushings were like perfect for that strap, so I'll bet you it's a little tight. Yeah, she's a little tight. And 1/4 inch steel ain't gonna bend like that either, so I'm gonna have to add some width to that inside dimension here. Got my steel brackets lasered from Empire Metal. And I could have fabricated stuff, but they wouldn't have come out this nice or been anywhere near this quick. Okay, here we go. Almost done. I got one side in with a bolt and a nut. This side I got a drill and tap, but I didn't bring my tapping stuff from home, and I don't know where the old man stuff is. I did have to chop it. So I had this as a whole circle going around here, and I thought there was enough room where I could put it over the hole here and swing it into place. Not happening. But this looks like it'll work just fine. This part here, I'm going to drop inside the frame. Come down with a stud right here, just like this one is. This had the same little retainer thing and a little wire for feeding it through. And this bracket I was going to make out of angle iron. Boy, it's really quick to have them just laser it. These are 1/2 inch holes. It's going to use the existing hitch bolt that I have here. And then these are 10mm holes for my sway bar end links. This is the adjustability so that I can dial it in from front to back. Yeah, let's see if my genius idea works here. Just drilled a hole through. Now I gotta feed this thing through that hole. Should be a piece of cake, right? Come on. Fit my arm where it needs to be. Ooh, ooh. That's exactly what I was looking for. I think it's sitting on top of this wire right now. There. That's what I wanted. I am rather happy that worked. It's not really a genius idea because it's exactly what Kurt did for this mount here, but I was hoping it would work. Looks like I'm good to go. So now I should have a 0% chance that this thing breaks off like the other one did. So here's a little refresher on what didn't work and ripped right off the little block that I had up here. This, though, I don't think I'm going to have that problem. These both came out really nice. Okay, so I spent a bunch of time machining these polyurethane bushings, making this bracket. I got to get a long tap, 1/4-20 here to get this other bolt in. But this new torque arm bushing, I really like. I'm happy with. And the idea was I was getting rid of the clunks because I couldn't find anything wrong with my coilovers here or anything. No clunks there. Made sure all these bolts were tight everywhere. But I noticed when I was doing some testing today, sounds fine. The heim itself is worn out, I think.
Well, that's an easy fix then.
Yeah, kind of. I'm going to screw up my alignment to change it out. And if it wore out that fast, that's not a good sign. But I do have more of these polyurethane, basically heim rod ends. Polyurethane rod ends, basically, I guess what you call them. So I could put them in here too. That might be what I end up doing. But that's got to be it.
Yeah. I'll bet it is.
Mm-hmm. So that polyurethane that I just put in there and everything is way better than it used to be?
Well, it's way better than it used to be. Okay.
I doubt it makes a goddamn bit of difference in the noise. So my angle of the dangle is off a little bit from this Blazer sway bar to the angle of the end link that I got, this direct Dodge end link. And it tears these bushings right up. It's a lot of force against them. So I'm going to put some poly bushings in here, see if that helps. And if that doesn't, I might do a second ball joint like the top up there. Okay, let's see how these hold up here. These other ones did not last long at all. We're talking a few thousand miles and they're junk. Okay, so I knew when I did my engine mounts, I was planning to run AC. Got plenty of room here, all this stuff, but the sway bar is a problem. So to do AC, I'm gonna have to relocate the sway bar or something because I got it moved out of the way to even mock that up. And we got clearance issues everywhere. And that's without the tensioner on. The tensioner goes here. Okay, there's that tensioner mocked up here. And you can see where I've got my sway bar mounts. Everything's right in the same spot. So I might be able to move this bar over here, something. I don't have a great solution yet. Okay, I remembered it this time. Okay, I got the support bracket almost done. Welded on some nuts, and this part is going to weld onto the subframe. Okay, I just got my angle welded in. Bracket is bolted up. And I'm reasonably happy with that. That should really help out with the rigidity of the engine mount. Okay, since this bracket ended up blowing through the edge right here, I'm going to weld a nut on this side. Okay, now I got both braces in. Okay, I'm popping these control arms out because this heim is making noise. It's terrible. And also because I wanted like maximum thread engagement on here, and I pretty much did that. This is adjusted correctly in the wheel well. But the problem is when these are installed, you can't get to the jam nut in there. You can't get a wrench on it and stuff. If I just lathe off the hex on one side here, that'll give me half that much thread. And I really don't need much in order to get to that jam nut, so I'll be good to go. What I had to do last time to get these tight is get them the length that I wanted, pull them out, and then tighten everything, and then install them back. It'd be a lot nicer to just do it right on the car, not have to pull them out. So this don't fit all the way in there. And there's some warble. Very nice. Put a coat of 90s beautiful on all this stuff. All right, this might be dumb, but I'm doing it. Got my ichrometer lined up. First one's easy. The second one, I got to match this. Okay, now this ball joint moves an inch ahead. Right like that. Okay, this ain't gonna win me any like car shows or Riddler award or whatever, but I don't think I'll have any problem with this coming apart. And I drilled a hole and ran a bolt through too, because I kind of like bolting and welding when I've got something critical. Got these Kryptonite offset heims to help with the steering, and they don't give these things away. That's good news. I got the Beretta torn apart, and I just blew a brake line in the blazer. I almost forgot to show. Here's that Delrin on the final assembly. Okay, I got some steelies here for the Cletus burnout contest. And I also bought fire pants, and the place sent me a fire jacket, which I already have. But we'll be ready to rock here soon. Okay, I got my first test drive. This thing handles nice with the sway bar all hooked up. The steering clears by a freaking mile now with this offset heim, and my turning radius is awesome. I did get a little rub here in the wheel well, which I sort of figured might happen by moving this ball joint forward an inch. So I took the air filter out. I'm going to take this bracket for the AC dryer out of here and just kind of smack this flimsy little bracket enough that I can move the air cleaner this way a little bit. And then just, this was zip tied here. I'm going to zip tie it further ahead, and that's probably all I'll need to do. A little bit of weight reduction and a few zip ties later, and I think we'll be in pretty good shape. Expert tip I shared a couple years ago. Get yourself some of these flush cutters, and you can cut these zip ties flush. They won't stab you later on. I'll put a Amazon link in the description, and if you click and buy one, I can make like 8 pennies. Okay, my Camaro tensioner came in, and I figured this would probably work measurement-wise. This is the truck one, and I was being a cheapo and cut it up, cut this part off, and milled 750 thousandths off of this because I was using 3/4 inch spacers with the Camaro pump. And I figured probably Camaro pump should work as is. And where are we? Here we go. Get it up high enough. You can see everything should be good. So this is an off-the-shelf part that I can replace it with now that this one... I fixed it and it worked okay, but I do not trust it anymore, so I'll keep it as a spare. But Camaro one bolts right on. So if you don't have a mill and you want to use 3/4 inch spacers to use truck spacing with a Camaro pump, just use the Camaro tensioner. So once it's tensioned, I got a little bit more room for clearance here, which is nice. But it's pretty damn tight to this intake. We'll see if that rubs. I might have to go like 1 inch shorter on the belt to really be perfect. Yeah, that is 100% rubbing right there. So I guess what I do is put the truck one back on and keep the Camaro one with me, and if the truck one explodes again, I can swap them and then take this off to drive home. Until I get a belt that's like 1 or 2 inches shorter. Okay, that's the new steering angle, which is way better. Way better. And, boy, there's not much clearance there, but I got some. So I think I should be fine. Okay, I'm super happy with how this thing turned out. My turning radius is freaking awesome now. And this is my clearance at the tie rods to the wheel, so very nice. I was also wondering if it would look stupid moving that ball joint forward, but you can't really tell too much difference where I've got more gap behind the wheel than in front of the wheel. Looks reasonable. Have to get this back in for an alignment again. And watching my engine mounts here, I can whack the throttle a little bit and see the engine move in relation to the mounts. So I can't really see that on screen at all, but in person you can really tell. You can see like the header move in relation to the engine mount, and the flex is gone out of the engine mount. I mean, the mount wasn't flexing, but the unibody had the whole thing flexing a little bit before. And now with those braces in, right there, it's working better.